It's official! Fionna and Cake Season 2 premieres on October 23rd, exclusively on HBO Max. A lot of people are freaking out that we have a date but not a trailer. However, Season 1 only dropped a trailer a couple of weeks beforehand, and we're likely going to get Season 2's trailer at New York Comic Con on October 12th, about 2 weeks before it premieres. So don't worry, guys. HBO Max isn't turning their back on this show. I know it's frustrating that the show isn't being promoted a month or two ahead of time, but it is wildly successful, and people will show up for these new episodes. That said, we got 6 new images to break down that hints at the big story for this season, a couple of returning worlds across the multiverse, and even Fionna losing her arm and getting a prosthetic just like Finn. We got lots to cover, so let's waste no time and dive right in. Also, please like and subscribe if you end up enjoying the video. The first image shows Huntress Wizard in the same forest that Finn and Simon hiked through in Season 1. Back then, Finn mentioned how Huntress Wizard forbade him from entering the heart of the forest, but you know Finn, good luck trying to hold him back from a life or death adventure. Unfortunately, Finn's hard-headedness resulted in him encountering a bear that left a grody wound on his back. With hindsight, this whole endeavor was setting up the second season, as this bear who attacked Finn might not have actually been a bear, but someone who's in a werewolfish situation. As we can spot a mysterious figure hidden in the forest that clearly wasn't a bear, but donned the same mask as the animal who attacked Finn and Simon. I believe these two are one and the same. Some dude who got scratched by a werebear, transformed into one, potentially being able to control the transformation, and now the curse has been passed on to Finn. A theory that I subscribed to for a while, that's now shaping out to be true, is that Huntress Wizard is trying to cure Finn, who has either fallen ill due to these wounds, or what seems to be more likely, he's transformed into a giant mutant bear. Honestly, if Finn still has control, they could make a banger video game out of that. For one reason or another, the answer to saving Finn likely lies in a different world. Fionna World, driving Huntress Wizard to embark on a multiversal journey that'll have her cross paths with Fionna and Cake. And this mystery dude in the shadows might turn out to be the new antagonist of the season, or at least someone who's connected to the villain. The second image gives us Fionna. Wow.
Respectfully, but
Fionna, Cake, and Lord Monochromacorn are attending a concert where Fiona's ex, DJ Flame, is performing, and I swear, that poster of DJ Flame has him hitting the blue eye stare meme. Right off the bat, I'm so glad it's already confirmed that this season has a bigger focus on Fionna World, because stuff like this is exactly what I wanted to see more of from the show. The people yearn for more grounded slice-of-life moments around Fionna World, to watch these characters just exist and engage in normal adult activities in between the high-stakes adventures. When you have an endless supply of surreal, wacky adventures from this franchise, watching Fionna try to hold down a job and Gary run his bakery oddly hits the spot. Cake shape-shifting into a human form when she goes out is a very cute detail. I'm glad she's taking advantage of her new status quo and having a night out on the town with her best friend after spending however many years as a regular domesticated house cat. And it seems like they might be pulling the trigger on her and Lord Monochromacorn becoming an item in this universe, which is wild because he's a human and she's a shape-shifting cat, but hey, they're OCs that came out of an old dude's head who are based on a dog and a unicorn, so maybe we're not meant to overthink the ethics of it all. I'll just judge in silence. I do wonder if this outing is going to pave the way for us to get a closer look at Fionna and DJ Flame's relationship, and how close those two might have mirrored Finn and Flame Princess's own toxic relationship, and also just give the show a chance to check in with where Fionna is at when it comes to dating. Season 1 definitely gave us some breadcrumbs for a relationship between her and Hunter, but it didn't really go anywhere, as there were more important matters at stake. With the impending arrival of Huntress Wizard, I'm betting we'll get a decent idea of how she feels about Hunter, and if the two have grown closer since Fionna World was canonized. I actually talked to my buddy Sarcastic Chorus about this. He has his own video on these images on the way, so check that out whenever it drops. But he suggested that Huntress Wizard's role in this season could be used to explore those who struggle with commitment, like how Simon's storyline was really about grief, suicidal thoughts, and moving on. Huntress Wizard and Finn's relationship has never been clearly defined in the show. Fionna and Cake definitely leans into the idea that they get together, as she's likely the mother of Farmworld and Finn's kids, and Finn mentions going to hang out with her after his bro time with Simon. I could totally see Huntress Wizard and Fionna both being afraid of commitment, that Huntress has been hesitant to commit to Finn for one reason or another, and maybe Fiona's been skirting around going steady with Hunter. Now that Finn's life is on the line, and Huntress is faced with the possibility of losing him, she might finally change her tune. And witnessing this journey might also push Fionna into finally entering a new relationship after moving on from DJ Flame. Also, I hope they touch on DJ Flame getting with Fern, because man, I know they don't know that's messed up, but it is indeed still messed up. The third image confirms an appearance from our main universe Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, who probably will get a smidge more screen time than in season 1, but I honestly am not expecting too much just because this show seems adamant on keeping the core 4 at a reasonable distance, since they have 10 seasons, 2 specials, and an upcoming spin-off all to themselves. If the bear Finn theory is correct, then PB rocking a lab coat may indicate that she's running tests on Finn, keeping him contained and trying to find a cure. Or perhaps she's trying to find a way to access alternate realities without the use of Prismo, since Huntress has to get to Fionna World somehow, though it's likely that Huntress Wizard will go to Prismo and try to wish for a cure, leading to Prismo dropping her in Fionna World as a one-way trip, forcing her to find a way back to her original world from there. I've seen some critiques on how Marceline and Bubblegum look here, as Fionna and Cake does have a slightly different art style than Adventure Time. I personally noticed that the proportions are a bit more realistic and that the line art feels smoother, but I think this specific image is just a result of the art sticking closely to the storyboards, and it's a quick shot that probably won't even be on screen for that long. The fourth image has Baby Finn from Baby World in the frozen city of Farmworld. Remember, Simon in that world sacrificed himself by freezing the mushroom bomb and then died, which racked the crown itself with grief, resulting in the earth being frozen for over 400 years. We know that most of the world appeared to have thawed out over time, but it seems like the city that Simon actually lived in remains frozen. As for why Baby World Finn is here, he, alongside Jay and Little Destiny, were still living in Fionna World by the end of season 1. And last time I checked, living in a different universe is against the rules. After all, Scarab's main job was ensuring people live in the proper reality. So while I think Prismo is helping the guy mellow out, Scarab is still going to enforce the rules in order for Jay and Little Destiny's return to their point of origin. Perhaps he assigns Fionna and Cake to take everyone back home, which is how Baby Finn ends up here. He's just along for the ride, but ends up wandering off and getting lost. I do think Fionna and Cake correcting any damage that was done to other realities throughout their quest would be a nice little recurring plot thread to have in this show, as it allows us to revisit some of these dope-ass variants. But hey, maybe something else is going on here. Maybe Baby Finn has just been hopping across dimensions instead of returning to Baby World, being a free spirit who can't be tamed. Maybe this season will see the gang push back against Scarab and convince him to let people live in other realities, allowing Baby Finn to find a new place to call home. Granted, he'd be growing up without Baby Jake, which would be unfortunate, but this would set the stage for Simon to potentially live in Fionna World, as he did flirt with the idea of finding a new place to live at the end of season 1, and I think he'd be pretty happy here, in this place that came from his head. The fifth image is the real draw here, as we're given this glimpse of Fionna wearing a fur mantle, wielding a sword, and sporting a robot arm. Holy shit. With Finn always losing his arm in every reality, Fionna losing her arm was an inevitability. It was something I've been anticipating from the moment that season 1 wrapped up, and now that Fionna World is canonized, it makes sense for the show to start building up to this plot point. However, I don't buy that this is our Fionna. I think it's way more likely that Fionna World becoming canonized has caused other Fionna-based realities to form. Kinda like the Big Bang? This is our first glimpse at an alternate version of Fionna, who sports the epic robot hand. With how futuristic this arm looks compared to those found on other Finns, I'm assuming this arm was provided by a Bubblegum variant in a world that's not totally devastated, but has definitely seen better days. There's also the possibility that this is some sort of dream sequence, and Fionna is ultimately having a premonition of her impending robot arm. But that's not as exciting to me, even if I think that arm is coming off soon. Finally, we have the sixth image where Cake and a short-haired Huntress Wizard are investigating something in Vampireworld. Maybe this world has information on Finn's bear-like illness, but what I really want to point out is that this Huntress Wizard is probably not our girl. I do think there's a strong chance that this is another variant, not just because of the hair, but because of the red cape and different shaped antlers. These are pretty inconsistent with each other. Our Huntress Wizard appears to have autumn-colored leaves in her hair when she meets Fionna, and while she could definitely shed off those leaves and end up with this hairdo, I'm not sure if her branch-like antlers would change shape like this. Season 1 gave us a couple of different Simons, though they were either dead or died before our very eyes, so giving us a few different Huntress Wizards makes sense to me. I guess we'll have to wait and see what's really going on here when season 2 premieres October 23rd. Comment your thoughts and theories down below, and keep the conversation going over on Twitter and Instagram at AltruckVox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on so you can stay in the loop with Fionna and Cake season 2 and all sorts of other animated goodness. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.